Talking about the Titans here. The Titans.
Swing and a drive. Left field. It's gone. And it's gone. It is bedlam at the bank.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Podcast right here. You already know. Go fucking subscribe. Go follow.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Phillies postgame show with Eric, Brendan, Dalt, and Ballpark Tommy. Proudly powered by TickPick. Check out the link in the bio for $10 off your first order today. Let's take it to the show.
The rain did not fuck us over, dude. I was fully expecting to lose this fucking game going into the 11th inning, and the rain, Tommy, like I fucking told you, was good luck. Because if it wasn't for that rain, we probably would have fucking lost that game. But Tommy's on tonight. He has a lot to say. Eric here. 302 Birds post-game show. Let's get this shit started.
Yeah. As I said, once we got to the 10th and I saw who was coming up, I was just like, I'm feeling the 11th. I'm not feeling the 10th. I still believe Rojas was safe, but the umpire blocked the view, so I understand. I know they said it was confirmed. I would have gone with it's inconclusive because I don't think McCann tagged him. I saw a lot of dirt pop up. I think he tagged the dirt. I don't really think he tagged him. So I think Rojas was actually safe. Rojas got a terrible jump though. For his speed, shouldn't have been that close even to begin with. So it's more like his jump was terrible on that. But just to kind of quickly go over like the general game stuff though. Mr. Ranger, 6 2/3. Dominated, absolutely shoved, 1-run ball again. And Hoffman came in, gave us a little scare, but he shut down the door to end that inning. Strom, unfortunately, gave up his first run in I think it was 26 innings going into that inning. And you know what? I can't even fault Strom there. That pitch was a little off the plate, and Santander just He got a good piece of it. It's one of those things you just gotta tip your hat to the batter.
He's annoying.
It was annoying. I agree, but it's just one of those things you're like, really. I'll be seeing my cardiologist tomorrow after that game. I'll be telling you that much. These Philly sports are gonna kill me but I'm only 25, but I might have the heart of an 80-year-old, but by the end of this stretch, we might need to go on another 10-year drought just so my heart recovers, Chard.
Yeah, dude, you kind of started it off already, but the first topic we're talking about is Ranger. He looked absolutely dominant, especially after that whole London series and coming off the injury. I mean, he was dominant in London anyway. I don't think the injury really affected him. He went 6.2 tonight, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run. Two walks, 6 strikeouts, and his ERA is still a sub-2. It's still a 1.77. And his overall ERA for the season is a 1.81. And I believe he's still second in Cy Young voting. I know it keeps changing every day. I think first is Wheeler and then second is Ranger. So I could be wrong. So I believe he's also the first to 11 wins, 10 wins, 11 wins.
He had 10 coming into tonight, 11. Or no, he only has 10 still because he didn't get the win tonight.
Oh, really? No, I guess it would go to Sir. Yeah, you're right.
No, it went to Orion Kirkering.
Oh, really?
And then Seranthony got the save.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's weird.
So-
It's weird to me how that works because, like, you would think that the win would go to the starting pitcher, but that's just
It's
weird.
whoever the pitcher of record is when you take the lead. So Orion Kirkering was still technically in the game when the Phillies were hitting in the top of the 11th. So that's how that gets scored.
Gotcha.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. I agree with you, but it is what it is. I didn't make the rules. I just beat them.
Yeah, but I still think I think Rangers absolutely are a dominant pitcher. I think out of the entire starting rotation, if you want to make a case to move your spot up next year in the rotation, this is your year. Because
absolutely.
Honestly, I mean, granted, we extended Wheeler, we extended Nola. I'm sure Rangers making his case. I don't think we have to extend him for another year or two. I could be wrong. I think honestly, right now, he should be your number one, number two guy next year.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, there's no reason he shouldn't be. And if you want to move Nola back, then move Nola back. I'm sure they won't. I'm sure it'll still be 1, 2, 3. But Ranger can honestly be a starting pitcher any other team if that was the case. Granted, we're lucky he's here. We have a amazing starting rotation, but yeah.
He's an absolute stud. You know what he truly reminds me of? He reminds me of like prime Madison Bumgarner in the sense of he's cool, calm, and collected. He's a absolutely dominant starter, but he's not afraid to come out of the bullpen when need be. Like, we've seen him do that in the playoffs where he'll absolutely shove as a starter, and then Game 5 could finally close the door. Or let's not even think about going to a Game 6. Let's end it tonight. He'll come out of the bullpen for you. And he's got that calm, cool demeanor of like Cliff Lay. Like, dude's an absolute stud. And I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I love it too. And I just love his whole demeanor that he kind of gives off. And I mean, even when like Hoffman came in, just him supporting the relievers that come in after him was amazing to see. I mean, our bullpen, I know at the beginning of the season, we were kind of like, oh, well, they're saying it's the number one bullpen and they look like shit. I think they've kind of overtaken that whole graphic because like we have one of the best best bullpens in baseball. And I think honestly, I think they have one of the lowest ERAs right now. I know Strom let up that run today, but I still think he's a sub 1 ERA, or maybe he's above 1 now. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But
stats. Oh yeah, he's still sub 1. He's a 0.96. He didn't even reach 1. He didn't even reach 1, and his overall ERA is a 0.67.
There you go.
So like, my whole thing is like, I feel like this entire team or a majority of this team could be like, I think it was like 2015 with the Royals with the All-Star game, where like it was all Royals. I feel like it could be.
I can't remember
Phillies.
that.
I feel like it could be all Phillies because like this team is so dominant.
Stott, I don't think it's the league-wide recognition, so he might not make it. Cassie's cold as ice. Marsh was hurt. Trey was hurt. I feel like Bohm could make it because he was so hot all of April and May for the most part. Harper should finally make it. JT, I could see getting selected, but he won't play, obviously, because of his knee now. But then Rojas should be an easy pick as a starter. And he might even be the starting pitcher for the All-Star game. I feel like he's the easy choice at this point. I mean, he's the leader in FIP, leader in WHIP, leader in K per 9. Actually, yeah. And then I don't know, he's just like, and he's the ERA leader, he's the wins leader. Like, I don't know who else you would have as the starter in the All-Star game besides Ranger Danger.
I mean, I don't really think anybody has as solid of a case that he does, personally. But But yeah, I mean, if he's not a starter, it would honestly surprise the fuck out of me because it should either be him or Wheeler. But I don't think you can vote for pitching yet. I think it's just position players. So,
So
so
we'll see.
yeah. But going into the next topic, we're going to talk about, is it Marchan? I think that's how you say his name.
I heard it pronounced both ways, Marchan and Marchand. I don't think McCarthy even knew.
Who cares? But where the fuck did he come from, dude? Like, I know he got called up from AAA because JT got injured, but I was not expecting him to hit a blast tonight. I mean, like last night or the night before, he looked kind of off. I know it's been his first major league game since 2021, and tonight was his first home run since 2021. But like he has that gas in him.
Yeah.
Like, it amazes me, and I've said this with Brendan on the show before. It just amazes me how all these bench players, it's not just one guy that comes into the game and like clutches the game. Like if you think about like the Yankees, you got Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. Those are your clutch guys. If you think about, if you think about it's another team. If you think about the Astros, right? You got fucking blanking on his name.
Altuve?
You got Altuve. Which I think didn't Altuve get DFA today?
No, that was Jose Abreu.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I mean like you got players on teams that are clutch players, but I feel like anybody on this team is just clutch. And that's what amazes me lately. I think Marchand did his job tonight. I think he's starting to finally get comfortable with being a backup to the backup. And I want to see more from him because I think he's doing a lot better than Strom right now, personally.
I mean Stubbs.
Or Stubbs, yeah. I have Matt Strom's stats up.
No, I totally get it. No, I agree. He's looked clutch back there. He has an absolute cannon of an arm. That one bunt that like went right in front of the plate tonight, he threw it down to third to get the lead runner was a clutch play too. That'll probably go underrated and not make a highlight reel, but he doesn't make that throw to third. It's bases loaded or he just has to throw down to first and it breaks up a double play because next pitch is a double play to end the inning for Ranger to get out of the fourth, I believe it was. That's an absolutely huge play that's probably not going to be talked about a lot, but that was huge. His home run to give them the lead was huge. That tag out in the bottom of the 10th that got overturned but was 100% an out. That was clutch. Eventually we'll have replay be used what it's meant for and to get the call correct. You blew it in the top of the 10th. You blew it in the bottom of the 10th with replay. What is the point of replay if we're still going to get it wrong? Although I have a lot of people coming at me saying I'm delusional.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say you got people in our Discord server that's coming at you for that whole tag. Like we have Kayla in our Discord who's a big Orioles fan, and that's all she was talking about was, oh, he's safe, he's not out. So
he was. His hand, if you zoom in when he's tagging his bicep, his hand, the oven mitt is above the plate. He didn't smack down onto the plate. It is my whole thing, and it's like you have to like super zoom in. His hand is this hand's home plate, and his oven mitt that he needs to take out the muffins with is here. He's out because he's getting tagged while his hands like here, like it's like positioned like here over home plate. He was out. Especially if Rojas was out. Now, what should have been called on what was called on the field should have stood in how close that was. Is he was out. If we're gonna say Rojas was out because it was too close, it actually got overturned. Or no, they kept the call that he was out because it was too close to overturn. And I think he should have kept the Cedric Mullins play at the plate as out as well. But whatever. The ball didn't lie. soon as we come back from rain delay, hey, Alec Bohm hits a double to show you that they made the wrong call because ball don't lie. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of Alec Bohm, that's our next topic. Rafi honestly saved the game there. But the one thing I want to say real quick is I think that the Phillies and the Orioles rival is better than the Beltway rival. I think the Battle of 95 is better than the Beltway rival because honestly,
absolutely.
who the fuck cares about the Beltway? Because the Beltway is what? Us and the Mets? Is that what that is?
No. The Battle
us
of
and the Braves?
Beltway is Orioles and Nationals.
Wow.
The Battle of 95 typically is us and the Yankees, or us and the Mets is usually what a lot of people refer to it as, but this also applies.
Yeah,
Because they're right off of, I want to say it's 695 down there is where you get off to get to the stadiums down there. It's been like 2 or 3 years since I've been down there, and there was a lot of construction when I was down there 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, like, I personally, like, I don't think it's really a rival thing. I think it's more so a friendly competition, at least in my eyes. I feel like, honestly, the Orioles, like, their fans are some pretty cool people. So, I mean,
they are.
So, like, I don't know. I just felt like this game was honestly like a postseason game. Like,
oh, it so was.
Just the excitement and just like us taking over a stadium. Because from what I saw, it was 60% Phillies, 40% Orioles. When I watched the broadcast, all you could hear was "Let's go Phillies." So I mean, like, that was honestly amazing to see. But like Alec Bohm, dude, he's been cold lately, but he came in clutch today. He was 3 for 5. I believe he had 2 singles and a double.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, after the rain delay, again, I thought we were going to lose just because the momentum seemed to be on the Orioles side.
Mm-hmm.
I think the rain kind of fucked that for them. I think, honestly, it killed their whole vibes and their momentum. And I'm surprised that, well, I don't want to say surprised, but at the same time, like, Bohm's been kind of cold. He was the, RBI merchant a couple weeks ago, and then he just kind of fell
disappeared.
off.
Yeah,
he disappeared. And to see him kind of get back into that groove, I think is a good thing. And I think, coming into this weekend, we get reinforcements back. Supposedly, Marsh has a really good chance of coming over from Reading tomorrow. And then Trey was on the base pass running today. He was taking ground balls. He was running around. So they said either tomorrow or Sunday for him. So I think, honestly, going into this weekend for Father's Day baseball, you got 2 guys that are coming back that are going to beef up this lineup. So I think we're honestly in a really good spot right now.
And it seems like we squeezed out whatever magic we could out of Sosa, because it seems like he's been hot, don't get me wrong, but like between the Red Sox series and even a little bit in London, but I won't count London. I'll put an asterisk next to that just because that's a extraordinary situation. He seems like he's finally like cooling off, so it might be the perfect timing for Trey Turner to come back and start playing shortstop and like flipping in and out with Edmundo Sosa over there at short, and then with Marshy coming back. The big question though is, who do they send back down? Like, they're gonna need to send somebody down with Marsh coming back and all that. Like, Weston Wilson's gonna be sent back down with
Dahl.
With Trey coming back, but you're gonna send back Dahl. I think that's a DFA for Dahl because of his years with the Rockies.
I know we have Dahl. We have Wes Wilson. I guess technically Cody would still count, even though he's on IL.
He's on the IL, so he wouldn't be sent back down. He's already off right now.
Okay. And then Marchan is technically a call-up, right?
Yeah, but he's got to stay because if Stubbs gets hurt, you're screwed.
He's got to stay for a while. I think, honestly, with Trey and Marsh coming back, I know they said they want to try to do like maybe 1 or 2 games with Sosa in the outfield and see how he does.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Just honestly choose a team that's kind of shitty and see how he does. I don't like it's, and me and Brendan talk about this all the time, and I'm glad that I'm having this conversation with you because it's a different perspective. It's a good problem to have, though. Like, you have so many good guys, and it's like, who do you send down? And I feel bad for Rob because I just feel like it's a hard decision for him.
Mm-hmm.
But like, obviously, the obvious one is Wes Wilson because he hasn't really played. He's been a pinch here and there.
Yeah.
I feel like you send down. Do you send down Dull or do you get rid of Pache? Like, do you send Pache down? Because I feel like Pache, he's good. Like, he had that clutch catch in Dull's area tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like, it's the same with Rojas. Like, all these guys are good outfielders, but when it comes to offense and at the plate, it's like, what do they really produce? Like, what do they really get?
Yeah. To me, Pache's a plus defender, whereas Rojas is a plus defender. Like, he's giving you an arm, he's giving you range, whereas Pache gives you an average arm. Rojas gives you a ton of speed on the base paths and gets on a little bit more often than Pache. Pache, he gave me some pops of power last year, but he doesn't really do anything for me. I don't know. I just feel like I would just get rid of Pache at this point. Try to find like a trade so then like you get at least something in return for him. He's gonna have to clear waivers if you DFA him. I would just try to trade him at this point.
What do you
Even
feel
if it's
about,
just for cash considerations.
Right. What do you feel about we talked about it last night and I wanted to ask you. White Sox, Robert Jr. or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I would love if they got him. He's a stud. He's a stud being absolutely wasted on the White Sox. Like, I feel incredibly terrible for him because he's going through the prime of his career on what is looking like what?
The shittiest team.
Yeah.
They're not even
like,
at 20 wins.
They look like remember in Angels in the Outfield how they looked right before like the Angels appear in that movie?
They're
like
18 and 52?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And they're getting their ass kicked by the Diamondbacks right now, so
they are horrendously bad. Like, they what did they do? They did this a few days ago. I forget what they did. But like, I don't know. There's all sorts of highlight, or I'm not sure you call it highlights, like low light clips, where it's like guys in the outfield are like overrunning the ball, and then it just goes all the way to the wall. Like, they don't even like. I hate to say this, but I think like the UNC baseball team that's in Omaha right now might be able to be competitive against this major league team. Like, they're that bad. Like, Maldonado is batting .079. I saw. Oh, like, it's like a joke if you go on the White Sox Twitter right now. And I only looked this up because I follow an account that talks like all of Major League Baseball called Talkin' Baseball.
Right. I know who that is.
And they showed parts of like White Sox Twitter, so I had to go into White Sox Twitter just to like look at it. There's like a whole thing in their fan base right now where they're cheering for Maldonado to be below .08. So they're like, look, even his batting average can legally drive now. Like, it's like a joke because they're so bad this year. Like, White Sox fans are just trying to make a joke out of anything.
Right.
They're even trying to get him to the All-Star game. They're like trying to do a whole campaign where somehow they get people to like he's the White Sox representative somehow, some way.
I saw that on like Twitter. It was like when the All-Star voting opened and all these teams posted like go vote for whoever. And I'm sitting there reading the comments on like the White Sox, the Rockies, like all these lower level teams. And all the people are saying the same thing. It's like, why should we vote for these people when they're not doing what they need to do? And I think that's just like, I think it's just, I find it funny because it's just like, again, your team's not at 20 wins yet. And it's been, what are we at? Like between 60 and 70 games now?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more, something like that. So I find it funny, but
I think it's hilarious.
but closing up on this topic, Alec Bohm, honestly, clutch player. Hope he starts heating up here in the next, couple games. I think after the Orioles, it's the Diamondbacks, I want to say.
Padres and the Diamondbacks.
Padres and Diamondbacks. So, I mean, two really hot teams. I think, honestly, we're out for revenge against the Diamondbacks.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially after what happened last season. So we'll see what happens with that. I know you're going Friday. I think I might be going Friday. I'm not sure yet. So
Go Monday and Tuesday as well.
so might see if we can do another 302 Birds post game meetup, but we'll figure out the details here in the next week. Going into the last topic, though, the one thing I want to talk about, Seranthony Domínguez. I last year was not on the Seranthony train. I feel like last year he just honestly was kind of terrible. From what I can remember, I know he wasn't used as often as he is this year. But this year, like he seems like he's found it. I don't think he's let up a run since like I think May something. I'd have
He
to
had a
look.
rough April, but I think you're right. Since like beginning of May, like it's been a while.
I'm gonna look at his stats real quick because I'm curious.
But I'm the flip of you. So last year, I had it absolutely terrible. Or I absolutely loved Seranthony and was like, this dude is like that unknown piece that people don't want to talk about. Like, he's our guy type of thing. And whereas this year, I was like, I'm like, oh my God. When he comes in, this is what I'm doing the whole time. What I'm doing right now is what I've been doing. But like I will say, he like Rob put him into some low leverage situations in like starting in early May to mid May, and started to ramp him back up. And it was like he was like a minor league guy that had to like earn his stripes to get to the high leverage situations. And you know what? He's done well again. The only guy that I really can't stand anymore in our bullpen is Gregory Soto. And
yeah, I don't care for him either. I
at this
really
point, just call up Mick Abel. I know they eventually want him to be a starter, but you know what? He's a bullpen guy for now. Just bring him. Like, if it comes to August and he still looks like a hot mess express, Gregory Soto, DFA him. I really don't give a shit. He's not going to help me win a World Series. Just bring in Mick Abel. Oh, the only guy I need to use, like, if in the playoffs comes around and we are down by 9 runs, guess what? That's what Turnbull and Taiwan Walker are for. Or, like, as somebody to eat innings. I don't need Gregory Soto then. I'm not using him in high leverage situations. I'm only going to use him when we're down 1 million runs, and even then, I don't want to use 1 million arms. So I'm either going to just use Taiwan Walker or Spencer Turnbull. I don't see a place that he has to help me win a championship come October.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at stats here. It looks like the last time he really let up a lot of runs was April 24th. He has 4 earned runs. After that, 0. April 29th, 2. He went on a streak for 0 up until May 13th, where he let up 1. But ever since May 13th, he has not let up a run at all. So May 15th, 19th, 25th, 26th, 29th. He hasn't let up anything in May. He hasn't let up anything in June yet either. So, like, I feel like, again, going back to what I said earlier with that graphic, I know we all clowned at the beginning of the year after that whole Braves series, but they've been dominant, and it's amazing to see because that's what you want in your bullpen. Again, Strahm let up a run today, whatever. It's not the end of the world. Like, shit happens. It was going to come to an end at some point. Orioles are a hot team. I mean, again, for those haters that say we can't beat above 500 teams, I mean, look at what happened. Look at what happened tonight. I believe I don't think we had the same record. I think they had 1 more loss than we did, but like,
yeah,
they were calling this a World Series matchup. So, like, and again, like we said earlier, it felt like a playoff game. So,
Yeah, it did.
again, we won. So, I just hope we can keep this up for the rest of the season. And come trade deadline, maybe, I know we were eyeing, I think, from the Marlins, the right-handed pitcher. I can't think of his name.
Tanner Roark or something like that.
Something like that. I think he's a closer. And then
Yes.
looking at, and we said it earlier, the White Sox guy, Luis Robert Jr.
Mhm.
So I know I said last night, we didn't really make any major splashes in the offseason. I mean, we only really got Witt, we got Turnbull. Those are really the only two guys that we brought on. The last couple of years, you haven't really made any big splashes. You got Lorenzen, he threw the no-hitter, didn't really do anything after that. You got Rodolfo Castro.
Didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything, and I think he's in AAA right now anyway.
Mhm.
So I'm just hoping with all this money that you were going to throw to Yamamoto, you take that and you make some big splashes here in the trade deadline. But we'll see what happens with that.
I think that was kind of their plan. Like, they kind of were like, we have a solid core. Let's just wait and see what we need at the trade deadline rather than make big splashes. And I think they were more concerned, like, let's go sign Wheeler, and then after that, we'll figure everything else out from there. And then once they were out on Yamamoto, I think they were just like, we'll figure it out. Because I do also think that this was their thinking. They don't want to have to deal with Scott Boras unless they have to. Because, let's face it, all his clients this year have underperformed because he held them out of spring training for so long. And baseball's a hard sport to, like, just pick up. Like, basketball, I don't know. Like, obviously, I never played at, like, an elite level with any of these sports. But, like, basketball, football, soccer, and volleyball, I could always just kind of pick up where I left off. Baseball, I needed, like, a week to kind of get into rhythm and then, like, could play. And, like, I played, like, at least, like, Delco League, or not Edco, through high school. So, like, I know it's not close to professional level, but still, like, just knowing from personal experience, like, it's hard to, like, just go out there and compete with baseball where it's like, I need some time to ramp back up to get into a rhythm. Like, I always felt like you would go in your hot streaks, cold streaks, because you weren't necessarily in the right rhythm or something like that. These guys aren't in their rhythm per se. Like, and the whole argument could be, oh, well, they'll have a bad first half, but a great second half in playoffs because they held out for so long. Sure, maybe, but they just look like dog shit. Like, Jordan Montgomery looks like shit this year. Now, who was the guy who just won the Cy Young? Blake Snell doesn't really look that great this year, and he held out, like, all these guys. So I don't fault Dave for not making big splashes this offseason. And I think their plan of let's wait and see for the trade deadline was better because I think they anticipated injuries and stuff like that more so occurring than just complete dominance. And you know what? No one's hurt. Knock on wood, which is a great problem to have. Let's go get someone. Like, I think they could easily try to trade Pache and Soto and maybe bundle in some minor league guys to bring on some of these superstars like a Luis Roberts or a Tanner Roark down in Miami.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think honestly, any kind of trade, and you kind of just said it, any kind of trade you do, you're gonna give up Pache, Soto. You might give up maybe like one of your farm hands, whether it's freaking Miller or
Crawford
or whatever. Obviously, you're not going to give up Andrew Painter because that's your top guy. You want to see what he can do. I still think you're going to give up one or two of your prospects, but
yeah,
I mean, I agree with you. I think that was the whole thing is if we can't get Yamamoto, which again, they didn't. I didn't think they were going to get him anyway because he said he wanted to play with Shohei in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I I mean, I agree with you. I think, honestly, they wanted to see how they did, which we're off to a hot start. And I think, honestly, you just take the money and you fill in the small holes that we have.
Yeah.
Like Brendan said, I think we need another right-hand bat. I think Luis Robert Jr. would be perfect for that. And I think you need a closer. I think that's really all you that's all you need right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then even if you get Luis Robert, then instead of platooning Marsh and Rojas, I think you platoon you platoon Marsh and Rojas instead of Rojas and Pache. It would be Marsh and Rojas out in center and Luis in left.
Right.
That's a mouthful there.
The one thing I want to say before we end that I'm pissed off about, we didn't tee off against Craig Kimbrell, dude. It was 1, 2, 3. It pissed me off.
That annoyed me to no end. I texted at anyone who has given me their phone number saying how like I just hate Craig Kimbrell. Dude couldn't stop the bleeding of giving up 4 or 5 runs against Arizona in 3 games. And yet he can shut us down 1, 2, 3 no problem. Like, dude, he's a bum. I'm over him.
Yeah, but that's kind of all we have for you tonight. We don't want to keep you guys up any longer. It's already after midnight. Phillies win 5-3. Tomorrow's game, I believe, is at 4:05, 4:30. It's one of those 2 times. So we'll be on here tomorrow. I'll be on here. I believe Dalt's going to join me tomorrow as well. So we'll see you tomorrow. On that note, again, like I said, Phillies win 5-3. And we're going to go ahead and roll that motherfucking outro. See you guys tomorrow.
The Vikings!
Swing and a drive, left field. It's gone! And it's gone! It is Bedlam at the bank!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball!
Podcast right here. You already